Let the record reflect we reconvene with all members present. For those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask you to remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take a moment to remember a few Madisonians we lost over the last few weeks. Albert Wickens, longtime Madison resident, passed away on November 17th, at the age of 94. His wife, Pat, died a year and a half ago. Al was raised with his 7 siblings in Newark during the Depression. He was survived by one sister, Jean Sexton, from Westfield. Al had a fulfilling career at Mutual Life Benefit, Mutual Benefit Life Insurance Company, where he acted as Director of Community Relations. During this time, he was successfully worked with and supported a myriad of charitable organizations throughout the Newark area. I knew he was a longtime Newark Rotarian. After his retirement, he continued to provide leadership support to nonprofit charitable organizations, including one of his favorite, which is Epic of Madison, an after-school program for special needs children. He and Pat enjoyed the travel, especially 3 months away from Madison. I'm sure they didn't enjoy it that much, except for the fact that it was a lot warmer every winter when they would go to Florida. We also lost Mary Luciano Beeman, 92 years old, passed on November 14th, born in 1931. She lived her entire life in Madison, and she was a devoted member of St. Vincent Martyr Parish the whole time. She graduated from Bally Elder High School and attended St. Elizabeth's College for several years before leaving to work in her father's produce store right in the center of town. It was during this time that Mary met the love of her life, Alan Beeman. Mary and Al would end up raising 5 children together. When her children got older, she went back to the workforce, began a career in retail. She started off with B. Altman's in Short Hills Mall, and eventually moved over to Lord & Taylor's. She primarily worked at each store's household goods department. She is predeceased by her husband Alan, her brother Sal, her sons Robert and Daniel, as well as her daughter Mary Ellen. She's survived by her sister-in-law Anne, her brother Pat, and his wife Eileen, her children Helen and William, as well as Daniel's wife, Dr. Kim McFadden. She also leaves 3 grandchildren. We also remember David McSherry, longtime Madison resident, passed away on November 14th at age 78, survived by his wife for 58 years, Pat. 4 children, Kathleen, Michael, Brian, and Bonnie, and their respective spouses, plus 10 grandchildren. He is survived by his sister, Diane McSherry, of Convent Station, and predeceased by his brothers, Bill and Roy. Born in Morristown in 1945, he was raised there. He has 3 siblings, attended high school in Bally Elder, and graduated in 1963, got his VS from NJIT. Long-time career telecommunications with Verizon Telcordia. And he spent most of his career working for the Department of Defense, traveling the world. He was a lifetime member of the Hillside Hose Company in Morris Township, and also the Madison Volunteer Fire Department right here. And when his children were young, he was a Little League coach and a member of the Madison Huddle Club. So let's take a moment to remember Al Wickens, Mary Beeman, and David McSherry, and let us pass our thoughts on to their families and friends that they leave behind. Thank you. We have no minutes for approval, so we'll go right into my greetings and a special recognition coming up in just a few minutes. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving weekend and that you had enough leftovers to get through yesterday. And speaking of the weekend, it was an incredible parade to welcome Santa Claus on Friday. From my point of view, marching the parade, it certainly looked like the biggest crowd ever. It was packed from Prospect all the way down Main Street. And I want to thank Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill and Assemblywoman Ora Dunn for joining us in the parade. The parade was dedicated in the memory of Carmen Toto Jr., and he certainly was smiling down on us that evening as the weather was as good as it get in late November. It was a bit breezy, but we didn't have to worry about balloons like Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, so all was good. And a special thank you goes out to the Christmas Committee. We have a representative right here, John Forte, but especially the Toto family for making the parade, the Christmas Village, Santa's house, and of course the tree all possible. It's incredible the amount of endless hours that are put in behind the scenes to put Madison's best foot out to the public. And I don't know how many in that crowd were from outside of Madison, but I know there was hundreds, if not thousands, from outside. So we know they were very impressed, and I'm sure they'll be coming back to shop. And I want to thank Father Owen and the parishioners of St. Vincent Martyr Church for the donation of the tree, which is the second tree from St. Vincent's the past few years. I know that they have planted a new spruce to replace the one they gave a couple years ago, so they have a replacement program already going. And I've got to say, if you haven't seen the tree, I'm sure everyone in this room has, but it is one of the best we've ever had. It is full, well-shaped, the perfect height, and this is coming from someone that knows the Christmas. So it is quite a beauty. And last but not least, I want to thank Santa Claus, because he's a very busy person this time of year, but every year, the day after Thanksgiving, he is right here in Madison to welcome everyone. So thank you, Santa. I've been a good boy. 2 weeks ago, I attended the League of Municipalities annual conference, and also attended from the council, Rachel Ehrlich, Eric Range, and Melissa Honahan. And we had also some borough staff down there. Madison presented a workshop on municipal solar, and I moderated a second panel on making communities ready for electric vehicles. We were also recognized by the Municipal Managers Association as the elected body of the year. And this was in recognition of the support that the employees of the borough get from the mayor and council, in particular the support we give them for their professional growth. As I said, I paraphrased a saying that was used in the YMCA world, but what I said at that meeting, if you don't feed your employees, they will eat your residents. So we make sure our employees are well taken care of and they can grow on the job. And then on Friday the 24th, or the 7th, I lost track of my weekends, the 17th it was, I was down National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C. as they officially welcomed the Lincoln portrait on the 160th anniversary of the Gettysburg Address. And for those doing the math at home, that is 80 years ago. It was an impressive evening, and so many shared the appreciation of the Hartley Dodge trustees and the residents of Madison for sharing this very special portrait. It was very moving to be sitting there. People obviously walked around the portrait, but during the dinner they had a copy of it up on the screen. Surprise singer was Judy Collins, who sang Both Sides Now and Amazing Grace, and with that view right behind Judy Collins singing it, and then they had a soprano who sang the Battle Hymn of the Republic, and so it was quite an evening. Dr. Anthony Fauci was there, but I didn't have a chance to say hello to him. Also in the last 2 weeks, the commissioners met and approved a $5 million grant for the Drew Forest. And as you know, we had asked for $10 million, but at $5 million, this is well above their typical giving, and this goes a long ways. And what is very important is this is the first money in towards securing the Drew Forest, so we appreciate the commissioners. Also, at the last meeting, they approved a $164,000 grant towards the next phase of their trail projects at Memorial Park. So that is very good stuff. And on another note, just remember to mark December 12th on your calendar, unless you get vote by mail. That is the referendum date. I encourage all Madison residents just go to the Board of Education website or take advantage of the tour, so you're fully educated on the issues when you go out to vote. And I want to congratulate the Sunday Motor Company for being named by the Star Ledger as one of the top 10 coffee shops in New Jersey. So it's a big recognition. And now I'm going to come down below and presentation here. Letter here, just a second. Yes. John McKeon, please come forward. That's a title you only have for a couple more weeks. So today we're recognizing our legislative team, and I just want to say a few things about our various, our greatest all-star team that we've had for the last 12 years. And as was pointed out by Alex Parker about a year ago, Madison has been moved into a new state legislative district for at least 5 consecutive times. So we're making us feel like that stepchild for redistricting. We moved from a predominantly Union County district to LD 27, which was mostly from Essex County, making it possible that we could have been the forgotten stepchild. But this was far from the case. We couldn't have asked for a better team. Governor Dick Cody is celebrating his birthday today, so he would have been here with us. But and Mila Jacey is home with her mother, as she's the primary caregiver. But we have, as I mentioned, soon-to-be State Senator John McKeon representing this great team. And so before I talk about John, let me say a few words about the Gov and Mila. And this is nothing against our new legislative team of Bucco, Dunn, and Barranco, but it's just how positive things work for the last 12 years. And this was a bonus. If there's probably virtually nothing good that came out of the pandemic outside of the fact that we actually had this legislative team for an extra 2 years because that had to be postponed. So we got that, and put that in perspective with our constant shifting from district to district. So that's the longest we've been in the same district for over half a century. And during this whole time, our team has been fighting for Madison. Issues related to our electric utility, solar on Green Acres property, working through issues with DEP, and of course, Green Acres funding to cover the cost of the MRC purchase. Our team has been there for Madison. And not to mention whether it's Arbor Day, Bottle Hill Day, or annual reorganization meetings, the Gov, John, and Mila have been right here in Madison, right at our sides. We were never forgotten. And so tonight, we're not only thanking Governor Dick Cody for his support for Madison, but also recognizing him for his 50 years in the state legislature, a record that may never be broken. This is 50 years of dedication to all New Jersey. Governor Cody became governor in the time before lieutenant governors was established in November. So he was served from November 2004 and served until January of 2006, which he stepped in when Governor McGreevey stepped down. Governor Cody's leadership over the 14 months had many of them calling him the most effective governor in New Jersey's history. And we know he has been certainly effective for Madison for over 12 years, but he leaves a legacy of supporting those struggling with mental health issues. You know, working with his wife, Mary Jo, the Gov has fought to remove the stigma related to mental health, and Madison has been recognized by the foundation, by the Codys. So we certainly want to thank Governor Dick Cody for his service to Madison, but the state as a whole, and also wish him a happy birthday. I won't break into tunes right now. And before I say a few things about Mila, I'll read a letter, and classic Mila, which I wanted to say nice things about Mila, and she's saying all the nice things for us. But dear Mayor Conley and Borough Council members, the decade I've spent representing Madison as part of the 27th Legislative District was an extraordinary experience. I leave the legislature at the end of the session with fond memories of the many friends I made in the community and the wonderful events which I had the opportunity to participate. I regret that I am unable to attend this evening and personally thank you for the warmth and hospitality you have always readily extended. Although it seems like eternity ago when redistricting brought us to Madison, it was a new experience in a town that I knew best for its lovely homes, plentiful open space, gorgeous historic public buildings, the museum, and a magnificent downtown. I soon learned the true vibrancy that makes Madison special is its residents and the thousands of volunteer hours they commit to so many worthy undertakings. I was invited to so many events that leave an indelible memories: May Day, Arbor Day, and of course Bottle Hill Day. Not to mention forums, community gatherings, and so many more occasions that brought me to Madison. I have spent considerable time at Drew and FDU, both outstanding institutions of higher education, are proud to call Madison home. You have welcomed large businesses, a variety of opportunities they present, while keeping the best of small-town America vibrant and vital. Our collaborative effort was invaluable in securing state dollars for necessary and worthy projects, consistently obtaining funding necessary to ensure a vibrant, well-respected school district, ensuring an ideal community to which to live, to work and raise a family. I recall the joy we experienced when New Jersey Magazine named Madison, New Jersey's best place to live in 2019. And I believe they haven't done one since, so we're still the best place to live. Local governing bodies play a pivotal role in the success of any community, and your unwavering commitment to Madison demonstrates how true it is. While the names and faces have changed over the years, you being the exception, Mayor, some faces you just can't get rid of, that remain steadfast the time and energy that each invest in making Madison this exceptional community that all those fortunate enough to reside there are so proud to call home. Thank you again for your support and friendship over the years. It's been my privilege to represent Madison in its New Jersey General Assembly. So that, Mila's said it better than I could, but I would just add that Mila's dedication to education, to health, to all those in the state that needed a helping hand truly made it special. And we wish Mila the best in her as she takes on her next endeavor. And now we have my good friend in front of me. From day one, it was clear that Madison was in good hands with John. As I mentioned, we thought we might be the forgotten stepchild, but where did John move his legislative offices? Right here in Madison. And I think you're still here. You haven't moved out yet. So we knew exactly where to find John. And I don't know how many times John stepped up to assist Madison, but I do know when I made the call, John was there. On top of the list was the already mentioned support for Green Acres funding, but there's also support in navigating the challenges that come with the funding. And Madison has made the environment and fighting climate change as one of our top priorities. And there is not a stronger supporter for the environment in the State House than John McKeon. The Cody, McKeon, and JC team has one of the highest marks from the League of Conservation Voters for their work on behalf of the environment. And this work is led by soon-to-be Senator John McKeon. And we know while you're no longer representing Madison correctly, we'll be fighting for us and for a better world. And we know that you won't be a stranger, because just as you had picked your office, Madison, for your office for the last 12 years, now your daughter and son-in-law are shifting from being renters in Madison to being homeowners. And you will be in town very often with your 2 grandchildren, your daughter and son-in-law. So thank you for all your work on behalf of Madison and all of New Jersey. Yes, and so this is a pewter box with Hartley Dodge Memorial, so we will always be right at your side. Thank you.
In a very special place. Can I have honors here? Yes, ma'am. Please. I'm sorry to have my back. Assembly now for 22 and the Senate. But there is no more important title 6 years after that is member of council. And so I say that to all of you because you're really in the direct line of service. And I mean the same for being mayor as well. You can stop and shop and no one feels a compunction to grab you and ask you a question. You're the ones that are protecting the most important asset 99% of people that live have here. That's the value of their homes. You have the sacred obligation to keep them safe. My government was put together to begin with. So just know that the work you do, the hours away from your families, those who are here now, of course, those who came before you, Carmela Vital, she was the first one to ever hug me here in Madison. You know, and Councilwoman Byrne, Austry, you know, some of the others that were no longer serving, I have just such good feelings about all of them. Other thing I want to mention to you, how proud I am of you with the Drew Woods. I just heard what the commissioners do, and it's one thing to be in the legislature and draw something up, you know, of the Highlands Preservation Act, and its funding. To actually tap into that, to have it resolve, to preserve open space. And I always say, lucky if your family will remember you 10 years after you're gone. Certainly, you know, all of us understand that if you wanted adulation, you should learn how to play the guitar, as opposed to being a counselor as mayor. But you're leaving things, a form of open space in this community. A great pollinator up by the trails that are, you know, in that area that was going to maybe, you know, turn. You mentioned it before, Mayor, the area that was an Exxon site that turned into beautiful ball fields. And those amazing woods. It's all because of you. And that's the legacy that you left. I've got a little small way to contribute toward that, to give you the tools to make it happen. That makes me happy. Nice enough to reference my daughter. If we stayed in this district, Ann and I were moving in. No. Shh, don't tell anybody in West Orange. But we really fell in love with this community. You know, when I first, and only take another minute at a time, you know, knew this was going to be in our district. First off, there hadn't been in Morris County for some almost 30 years. Number one, it's really cool. And then secondly, I mean, I knew Mayor Holden, very nice lady in her professional life. And my law partner was the chairman of the Republicans here in Madison. I was like, whoa, we're in trouble. But as it turned out, partisan politics aside, you know, I think we made a lot of progress, and making the people in this community understand that those are just labels and it didn't matter to us. We just wanted to be right by everyone. And I say with that same feel and spirit, you mentioned those who are taking our place. I've served with Tony Bucco for a lot of years now. He's a good person, lovely family, and I know that he'll stand up for this community. And Laura is a friend. I'm trying to get her to my office here in Madison, just a great spot. And I'm not as familiar with the third part of their team, but you guys will be lucky. And guess what? Governor Cody is just amazing. That record will never be broken. Well, I've got 30 years more to go, maybe. And Mila, to the extent of what a human being she is, we're going to really be at a loss for the state for her wisdom as it relates to educational issues and alike.
And just one parting message as you go out the door. We're actually only 8 years away from redistricting, so we could end up in 27th again. So you might want to start your house shopping in maybe about 4 years, so just in case.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
And we have a special presentation. Here. Step out. Guillermo Gil here.
It's an honor for our organization to have the recognition for a mayor of the town who support the Latino community, especially the Colombian community here in Madison. And we would like to say also thank you. Let us to raise our Colombian flag in July 21st. And that could be the first time, but we want to keep it and say to you guys, the councilmen members of the town, to let us do every year. and we recognize you, Mayor, and all the council members, and thank you so much for your support for the Colombian community. Also, we have a present for each member of you guys, so we want to give it to you. So I can give it to one of each members.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. It's an honor, and as John McKeon talked about, so many things that make Madison special. Being a welcoming community and having the Colombian population a part of Madison is so special. So thank you very much, and we'll be ready for next July.
Thank you so much. This is very nice. Got more swag in the first week than Tolva's getting years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we move on to reports from committees. Community Affairs, Council President Hoover.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Downtown Development Commission and Director of Business Development, please visit the Holiday Village at the train station this season once again, provided through the generosity of the Madison Christmas Tree Committee. Visits with Santa will again be booked through www.rosecitychristmas.com. The annual menorah lighting will occur Sunday, December 10th at 5 p.m. at the Madison train station. Once again, two more holiday favorites, the Secret Santa giveaway and downtown caroling will return in December. Look for them on Saturdays through December 23rd. From the Chamber of Commerce, the search for Rose City reindeer began Friday, November 24th and ends Saturday, December 16th. Participation cards are available at Tons of Toys and Madison Pharmacy. The grand prize drawing will be live on I Love Madison NJ Facebook on Monday, December 18th. The event is free of charge, open to the public, and exclusively designed for children. For a comprehensive list of all participating businesses, please visit the Chamber's website at madisonnjchamber.org. The Taste of Madison has been changed to Monday, March 18th, and will be held at the Madison Hotel. Madison Community Arts Center. The Madison Holiday Arts Festival was held on Friday and Saturday, November 24th and 25th. Over the 2 days, there were 22 performances. The Madison Weekend of Dance will be held at the Arts Center from Thursday, November 30th through Sunday, December 3rd. More information is available at www.madisonartsnj.org. 4 groups will perform through Sunday. The Drew Dance Department, Alborada, Spanish Dance Theater, Extensions Dance Project run by former FDU students, and Carol and Dorfman Dance. Sunday's Carol and Dorfman performance is sold out. Arts by the People will present their monthly literary open mic platform on Wednesday, December 6th at 7 p.m. Before the reading, there will be a writing workshop. Come Original, the monthly musical showcase will be held on Saturday, December 9th at 8 p.m. The New Jersey Jazz Society will present the Royal Bobsters, a vocal jazz group, on Sunday, December 10th. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Public Works and Engineering, Ms. Ehrlich.
Thank you, Mayor. The Engineering Department has a couple updates on projects in progress and to come. The Dodge Field Playground construction is scheduled to begin in mid-February with demolition, weather permitting, and we anticipate approximately 3 months of construction for the new accessible playground. The Cook Avenue parking lot plans are being revised to reduce the scope and cost with an anticipated rebid in early 2024. The principal change to the design is eliminating what's called the primary underground electric power from across Cook Avenue to the new transformer location. Instead of going underground, they will go overhead to a new pole and drop down to the transformer. And then an update on some grants that the borough has received and is applying for. As the mayor mentioned, Phase 3 of the Memorial Park Trail project was recommended for funding last week to the Morris County Commissioners by the Trail Construction Grant Advisory Committee of Morris County. The Madison grant application was for a $169,000 grant to create a 0.6-mile stretch of gravel trail with boardwalk in Memorial Park, which will provide access to businesses around Main Street and recreational amenities. The new trail will connect the existing trail that ends behind Del Barton Field to the Madison Plaza Staples Shopping Center, and will include a new loop through a special area of interest with wetlands, boardwalk, and benches. And the grant of $169,000 includes a match of $42,000 for a total construction cost of approximately $211,500. Madison is also applying for 3 grants to the Green Acres program ahead of the February 2024 submission deadline. Those 3 applications are approximately $700,000 for MRC debt relief, the $5.5 million application for the Drew Forest acquisition that the mayor mentioned, and $400,000 for the Dodge Field accessible playground. Public Works reports that all crews are out and continuing to work their way around town picking up leaves. They have 10 to 12 people working every day on leaf pickup. They have increased hours being worked and have pulled from the sewer department, mechanics department, and all parks and roads employees are detailed on leaf pickup right now. For those that are interested, leaf bags are available at the DPW garage to bag your leaves, and yard waste bags and cans will be picked up by the yard waste collector until December 6th. Meanwhile, borough-wide leaf collection by DPW crews will continue until all the leaves are picked up. DPW has a reminder not to flush dental floss, sanitary products, or wipes down the toilet. They again had trouble with the Lorraine Road sewer pump station due to items being flushed that should not be flushed. But as part of our shared service agreement, Chatham Borough assisted us with their jet vac truck in getting the pump station up and running again. And finally, DPW assisted the police department with the Christmas parade, and we thank them for their work to make it such a special event. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Utilities, Mr. Landrigan.
Thank you, Mayor. From the electric department cut down the Christmas tree for this year. We would like to thank St. Vincent Church for donating another beautiful tree. The department put up all wreaths and decorated the tree. The electric department connected the temp service for 284 Main Street, Madison Mall Apartments. On Monday, May 13th, the standby crew was called for emergency markout at Whole Foods due to the water leak. On Wednesday, the 15th, the standby crew was called back to Whole Foods for repairing the road work, again due to the water leak. On Monday, May 20th, on Monday the 20th, the standby crew was called to a car into a pole accident. The crew had to replace the broken pole and fix underground service that feeds the Madison Golf Course. And finally, on Tuesday, the 21st, the standby crew was called to Main and Rosedale to address sparks and fire from the top of the pole. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Very much. Public Safety, Mr. Range.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Police Department, the Madison Police Department Community Relations Unit, along with other members of the Madison Police Department, took part in Thanksgiving outreach program with St. Vincent's Church on November 20th. The officers took receipt of over 30 Thanksgiving dinners and delivered them to residents of the Madison Housing Authority. The police department has been participating in this program for over 15 years and delivering food to families during the holidays. Last week, the Madison Police Command Staff and school resource officers sat with the Madison Public School officials as part of their monthly school security meetings to discuss continued strengthening of security in all school buildings. Further, command staff officers met with representatives at St. Vincent's School to discuss the same issues. We are constantly working with public and private schools to ensure that they are the the safest they can be and secure. From the fire department, as of November 22nd, the fire department this month has responded to 15 general alarms, 12 still alarms, 14 investigations, 56 medical calls for a total of 97 calls. 27 inspections have also been conducted. In the past week, the fire department has responded to 2 major motor vehicle crashes. On 11/20, there was a single car crash on Green Avenue, which took down the utility pole near the golf course. Extraction tools were needed to remove a door and the driver to get out of the car. The 2 occupants in the car were transported to the hospital. And the following day, on the 21st, a head-on collision took place on Park Avenue. One of the cars was an electric vehicle. Firefighters found the driver in the EV still in the vehicle with the car in drive. With the fire department's new EV emergency plug deployed, it goes into the charging socket of the car. As the result, the car thinks it's being charged, and the mandatory built-in safety features prevents the car from being able to move. The fire department also utilized state-of-the-art software that has been recently released, entering the license plate number and getting all the particular precautions for that particular make and model of that electric car. This includes battery locations, power disconnects, emergency operations, and airbag locations. The 2 people involved in this incident were also transported to the hospital. The fire department, along with members of the police department, have begun the New Jersey Transit Rail Safety for First Responders course. There is 1 more classroom session and then a hands-on training will start at a selected New Jersey Transit rail yard. There, Madison first responders will get hands-on rescue training on rail equipment that serves Madison regularly. And lastly tonight, for public safety, I just want to give some thanks to our members of the police and fire department for their great work over the holiday weekend. Of course, it's easy for us to forget on holidays like Thanksgiving. They are in emergency services who work for our health and safety no matter what day it is. And then the following day on Friday, nearly every officer and firefighter is involved in some way to kick off the holiday season here in Madison, supporting the Christmas parade and tree lighting. From a grateful Madison, we thank you. And from the joint court, the 2024 court session calendar has been finalized. Madison and Chatham Borough cases will be heard on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of the month. Morris Township will be heard on the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of the month, and Chatham Township cases will be heard on the 2nd Monday of the month. The majority of cases in municipal court, along with other municipal courts, will remain virtual via Zoom. And lastly, tonight, the joint court here in Madison is hiring a full-time deputy court administrator. Experience in municipal courts is preferred, but anyone is welcome to apply. Details regarding the position can be found on the borough's website, and all applications must be submitted by this Friday, December 1st at 4:30 p.m. That's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Health, Mr. Howard Budis.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor, Council, and all the community members who are present. Got my ready. From the Board of Health, a few reports. MASA, which stands for the Madison Alliance Against Substance Abuse, had a meeting on November 17th with the county, and they were informed that all their grant submittals were accepted, and now we're waiting for a response from the county within next week for sponsoring some of the programs. From the nursing, on November 16th, from 2:30 to 6:30, there was a flu clinic held for Madison employees and residents in the courtroom at Hartley Dodge. 23 residents were vaccinated. Throughout November, 8 employees of the borough came by for flu vaccines. On November 17th, there was a blood pressure screening held in the health department for employees of the borough. 4 borough employees revisited. And on 11/21, there was a PHN meeting for Morris County. What's that acronym stand for? PHN. Anybody? There we go. Thanks, Ray. Public Health Nurse Meeting for Morris County. So many acronyms. Environmentally, there have been COVID tests supplied by Morris County Division of Health to our Madison Board of Health. The test kits are available for Madison residents and employees. This past week, last week, I attended the Madison Chatham joint meeting, which is the committee that manages our sewer treatment plant. And during the meeting, the chair or the manager expressed to us that we are now testing our water for any COVID contamination. So there's a new way now in the sewage treatment to test if there's high levels of COVID in the water system, which means that maybe there's some infections in the community. In September, we were a little high in the testing brackets, 40 to 59%. 0% means levels are low, very, very low, and 100% is very high, obviously. So I think we're trending down right now. Let's see if that continues. They also test Mpox and COVID data. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, or to present to the community, is we have entered into the New Jersey Arrive program. So the police chiefs from Morristown, Morris Plains, Morris Township, and our own Madison Police Chief Misha have discussed at a roundtable together with the prosecutor's office and, let me see here, and the representatives of the Mental Health America. And there's a program that we're entering that will be fully funded by the Department of Homeland Security and the Attorney General's office. It's going to provide services to our communities with mental health service provider professionals. This whole agreement has about 100 acronyms, so it's taken me a little time to figure out exactly what's going on. But the gist of it is that when we have a mental health issue with a resident in our community, this mental health service provider will at some point be dispatched at different stages, maybe at the call, after the call, monitoring the person in the community who has any mental health issues. The chiefs worked very hard with the other chiefs in our area to get this program started, and I'm very proud that he did get it started. We know there's a need for it in all of our communities, and it's going to be started on January 1st. So hopefully, we'll use it appropriately in the borough, Mayor, and that's all.
Very much. And Finance Borough Clerk, Ms. Honahan.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Tax Department, the tax sale will be held on December 7th. The tax sale process is a way for municipalities in New Jersey to obtain the full amount of property taxes and other charges needed to support the annual budget, while providing the property owner with additional time to pay off what they owe. The borough has advertised what parcels are scheduled to go on tax sale in the Madison Eagle. The property owners have the opportunity to pay off the liability before the December 7th tax sale. Also, the deadline for filing the anchor benefit application is December 29th, 2023. This program replaces the Homestead Benefit Program. Unlike Homestead, the anchor is paid by direct deposit or check, not as a credit off of your property taxes, and it's available to both homeowners and renters or tenants. Homeowners with income under $250,000 and renters with income under $150,000 are eligible. For more information, you can visit the tax collectors page on Rosenet and follow the link to visit the State of New Jersey's anchor page. From the Finance Department, Resolution 327-2023 is on the consent agenda this evening, which cancels electric capital ordinances. After a capital project is completed, there are typically excess funds in the ordinance. Those ordinances are then officially canceled via resolution so the money can be available for future ordinances and projects. This evening, we are introducing an ordinance for another important project for the electric utility, specifically a SCADA system. SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. This new system will help us better monitor the performance of our substations and electric distribution center. By canceling the ordinances with Resolution 327-2023, we're freeing up funds so we can dedicate them to the new system. Administration also has plans on having a resolution on the December council meeting to cancel certain balances in previously funded general capital and water capital ordinances. And finally, budget season is here. We anticipate having our first budget presentation at the next council meeting. As we have done for the past few years, we'll discuss capital items during our December council meeting. No action will be taken, but this will give council and the public an opportunity to see the 5-year capital plan and the projects that will hopefully be funded and completed in 2024. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Just to follow up to my very long reading that I forgot, probably the most important thing at the kickoff of the League of Municipalities was the Sustainable Jersey Luncheon, which Madison was recognized as a mid-sized champion. Not only is recognized again for that, it's the fact that our point total is beginning to creep up on Woodbridge, who is the large population one. And so it's, as I said there, and it is, you know, we have our chair, Kathy Cacaval, here that organizes everything, but you know, organizing and making sure we get the points are one thing, but you actually have to have actions to get these points. And so it is a whole community effort, and I want to thank all of Madison for their commitment to creating a sustainable world, and we are the envy. And as I walk around with my Madison name and my little sustainable recognition on my banner down there, they say, "Oh, you're from Madison, you're doing amazing things, aren't you?" And that is very true, so thank you, Kathy, and thank everyone else for the work on that. Now let's move on to communications and petitions.
None received, Mayor.
So now we are on to our first of 2 invitations for public comment. This one is limited to the items on our agenda discussion and our resolutions that are for consent. If you want to comment on ordinance for hearing, you'll have an opportunity for that shortly. And if you want to comment on anything else, you will have that after the hearings. These are the things you can comment on right now. One is the pre-qualifications for restoration of Hartley Dodge Memorial East Wing. And these are the resolutions that will be part of the consent and that you can comment on if you want. One is authorizing the Borough of Madison to enter an agreement with health services for the town of Westfield. This would be moving from Bloomfield to Westfield as our provider. Resolution 314, accepting the irrevocable resignation of firefighter Lucas McCory, effective January 5th, 2024. Resolution 315 will be appointing Patrick Culligan to the position of probationary firefighter, and this will put us at the full complement of 14 firefighters as discussed at the previous meeting, as we take on more responsible EMS and have a fully staffed staff of 14 to serve the needs of the borough. And the salary is determined by a collective bargaining agreement. Resolution 316 is appointing Thomas Meter Jr. to the position of probationary police officer, and also a salary that is consistent with the collective bargaining agreement. Resolution 317 is appointing Santiago Rendon to the position of probationary probationary police officer. Sorry. Resolution 318 is appointing Brandon Lake to the position of probationary police officer, and also the same salary guidelines, and this puts us at our full complement. Resolution 319 is adopting pre-qualification regulations. We'll have a hearing on that shortly. Resolution 320 is authorizing an agreement between the Borough of Madison Police Department and Mental Health Association to establish joint participation in the Arrive Together program, which we already heard by Tom's report. Resolution 321 is authorizing final payment change order request from National Water Main Cleaning Company, the amount of $10,313 for sewer lining replacement project, brings it total to $348,000 and $348,090, and this is all funded through Ordinance 7, 2023. Resolution 322 is a grant application to New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for protective equipment for firefighters. Resolution 323 is authorizing contract facility solution group under interlocal purchasing called TIPS for purchase of LED light fixtures, and this is not to exceed $85,000. Resolution 324 is insertion of item of revenue in the budget, and this is $30,179, and this is related to the National Opiate Settlement. Resolution 326 is authorizing membership of Passaic County Cooperative Pricing System, just another co-op that we'll be able to participate in. Resolution 326, confirming membership of Robert Kelly in Madison Hose Company Number 1. Resolution 327 is canceling completed capital improvement ordinances, which has also just been reported on. Resolution 328 is insertion of item of revenue, and this is $347,818, and this is related to the ARPA funding, and this will be for business development projects, including Cook Plaza parking lot, downtown signage, and other things as has been previously discussed. Resolution 329 is ratifying the appointment of intern Megan Collins as part-time unpaid intern for the fire department. Resolution 330 is appointing Janet Wagstaff to the position of senior office assistant in the clerk's office to support the health department. So those are the resolutions that will be part of our consent, and those are the ones you may comment on. If you want to comment on any of those, please step forward, state your name, address, the resolution or the agenda item you want to comment on. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. We give you 1 minute grace. Anyone wish to comment, please step forward. Seeing none, I close this part of the meeting, and we move on to agenda discussions and the pre-qualifications for restoration of Hartley Dodge East Wing. Tyler Merson will presentation, then I'll open the hearing.
Good evening. I'm here to present on the details of the East Wing renovation project. The purpose of the project in overview is the creation of a little over 3,000 square feet of office space on the ground floor that will be used by the building, engineering, and land use, as well as the renovation of the old courtroom and offices on the first floor to be used by the Madison Historical Society as a museum. And then the renovation of the second floor to create additional office space for human resources, IT, and communications. An elevator will be installed between the ground first and second floors, and the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, as well as plumbing, electrical, will be updated for the entire East Wing, much of which dates to the original 1935 construction of the Hartley Dodge Memorial Building. Next slide, please. There we go. So the schedule, we began this phase of this project in January with an update, a project update report furnished by Historic Building Architects of Trenton in January of this year. And that was followed by some discussion here with the foundation and the borough. And then HBA was asked to prepare construction documents in July of this year. The pre-qualification bidding approval process began in September, which leads us to this hearing tonight to approve a resolution for the pre-qualification of bidders. Construction documents are being worked on at the same time, and we should have those completed by the end of this year or January next year. The bidding process could then begin in February of 2024, and construction could begin somewhere in the second quarter of next year. So, the details of the project include an installation of an elevator from the ground floor to the second floor, leveling of the floors and installation of new flooring on the ground floor, an update of the electrical and plumbing throughout, and the installation of a new HVAC system. There will be some asbestos abatement, a new public bathroom, as well as 2 new staff bathrooms, and the renovation of an existing bathroom, all on the ground floor. For the land use and building departments, there will be a new reception area and counters, new partitions for offices and conference rooms, as well as new furniture, file storage as needed, and the installation of key scan pads and cameras in designated locations throughout the ground floor. And lastly, some modification will be needed for the rear East Wing entrance, which will further be used in the future for public access to the ground floor of the East Wing. Moving on to the first floor, a lot of the work that was done on the ground floor will also be done on the first floor. In addition, we'll be installing a new kitchenette for the use of the Madison Historical Society, as well as updating the existing bathrooms on the first floor. One will need to be widened somewhat, or the door to which will be needed to be widened somewhat for ADA accessibility. We'll create an opening between the gallery space and the rear hallway to assist people entering from the hallway in the elevator, as well as doing some patching and repair of the floors and the walls as needed. And additionally, we'll be creating a new opening between the clerk's office and the health department office in the main building of the first floor to facilitate work within those departments moving forward. On the second floor, we'll be updating aspects of the electrical and plumbing, much of the work that's being done on the first two floors, as well as a reconfiguration of the entrance to the finance department in the west wing, and the creation of flexible working spaces for part-time employees and to accommodate future growth, and installation of some new partitions and office spaces in East Wing to be used by HR, IT, and communications. And then lastly, I'd just like to speak to the criteria for evaluating prospective bidders. As published in our application to the Department of Local Government Services, prospective bidders acting as general contractor will be required to demonstrate verifiable, successful experience in project supervision and administration of historic preservation projects. The proposed project superintendent or manager will be required to demonstrate verifiable, successful experience in project supervision and administration of historic projects. The bidder must provide a list of names, titles, and years of experience of all principal members of the prospective bidder's staff who will be available and assigned to this particular project. The bidder must not have wrongfully defaulted on a contract or had work terminated for non-performance within the past 5 years. The bidder must not have been denied consent of surety, a bid bond, or performance bond within the last 12 months based on the bidder's inability to meet the surety's reasonable underwriting standards. And lastly, the bidder must demonstrate satisfactory performance on all current projects in progress. That's all I have.
Right. Before any council discussion, I will open the hearing to the public. Anyone in the public wishing to comment or ask questions on the criteria for pre-qualifications for the restoration of Hartley Dodge, please step forward. Seeing none, I close the hearing. Any further council discussion or questions? All right. So this will be part of the consent resolution agenda later in the meeting. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you very much for that work and great presentation. Background. Now we'll move on to ordinance for hearing. Will the clerk please read the statement?
The ordinance scheduled for hearing was introduced by title and passed on a first reading of the regular meeting of the council held on November the 13th, 2023. It was posted and filed according to law, and copies were made available to the general public requesting same.
I call up ordinance 56-2023 for second reading. Ask the clerk to read said ordinance by title.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $125,000 from the Municipal Open Space Recreation and Historic Preservation Trust Fund towards the purchase of the Madison Masonic Lodge, 170 Main Street.
I open the hearing. Anyone wishing to comment on Resolution 56, please step forward. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move approval of... Hold it. 1 second, please. Ordinance 56-2023.
Second.
Council discussion. Again, this is, as you know, we have a grant from Martin Heller for $1 million, and this is the, we're purchasing the building for $1.125. So this is the difference. Any further discussion?
Mayor, just a note, we've heard a couple of things tonight, and this is a great use of Madison's open space fund, and it just shows with Memorial Park Trails as well that we can multiply our funds in Madison by using the open space fund. So
sometimes it's fivefold and sometimes even more. So yes.
Yeah.
And we will have at a future meeting, I don't know whether it will fit in the next meeting or early in the next year, is a presentation on the restoration plans for Masonic Lodge and the future use of the Masonic Lodge. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Hurlick?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range?
Yes.
Mr. Harlan Putis?
Yes.
Ms. Honahan?
Yes.
I declare ordinance 56-2023 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. And now we move on to our second of invitation for public comment. This is when you may comment on any topic. As you comment, please step to the lectern, state your name and address, write the same on the clipboard. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes, but we do give you a 1-minute grace and ask you to stop at 4. And when wishing to comment, please step forward. Kathy.
I have a voice. Kathleen Cacavalli, 82 Central Avenue. So I'm speaking initially on behalf of the Friends of the Drew Forest. And I'm here to congratulate the town for being successful in receiving $5 billion from the County Open Space Trust Fund. Kudos for all the work that went into that application, the follow-up attendance at county meetings, and the wonderful video created for the commissioners. We are proud of our outreach efforts to help show support for the grant by encouraging folks from many Morris County communities to participate in the public portion of the process. During the course of the fall, we've brought our supporters from across the county, first to county open space committee meetings, and then to commissioner meetings. Through our email outreach, we also encouraged folks who could not make the meetings in person to email or Zoom in. Residents from Boonton, Chatham Township, Denville, Harding, Madison, Mendham, Millington, Morris Plains, Morristown, Morris Township, Mount Olive, Mountain Lakes, Parsippany, and Randolph wrote, attended, and/or spoke in support of the application. Elected officials, including State Senator Bucco and State Assemblywoman Dunn, Nick Platt of Harding Township Committee, and Kathy Wilson, who represented the entire Morris Township governing body, were among the public officials who spoke. And of course, we were grateful to see the many Drew students who came to participate, listen, and give the forest a voice. To our knowledge, not a single resident came forward to say, this is a bad idea. In closing, I'd like to share a quick story about Friends of Drew Forest. To use the words of the co-chair, Judy Kroll, I think it speaks to who we are. Recently, we were asked to speak to the Morristown chapter of the League of Women Voters. The organizers asked us to include in our presentation why Friends of Drew Forest had been so successful in such a short time. Well, 2.5 years, but they called it short. First, we all have a deep love and respect for the forest and a sense of urgency about protecting it. Second, this is Judy's words, we are as tenacious as hell. We're the Energizer bunnies of the Drew Forest. We know conservation takes a long time. We knew it going in. Our supporters know it. Friends of Drew Forest will continue to grow our support base and will continue to partner with the town towards the future preservation of the forest. Thanks to the Borough administration and elected officials for being tenacious as well. And I just want to follow up personally to congratulate the mayor and council for receiving the award for, it's a mouthful, the New Jersey Municipal Management Association Award for their consistency in supporting professional government management and career development of its staff. I think that's really great. And also to thank the participants at the League of Municipalities for making Madison yet again a star through your participation in the, or you know, that M word of the moderating, there it is, moderating of the EV session, and then to Councilwoman Rachel Ehrlich and CFO Jim Burnett and the mayor and volunteer Peter Freed for being part of the solar carport federal funding session, which I understand was a huge draw. So thanks again for everything you do to make Madison better and to put it in the spotlight for what we accomplish. Thanks.
Thank you, Kathy. Anyone else wishing to comment, please step forward. Seeing none, I close this part of the meeting, and we now move on to introduction of ordinances. Will the clerk please read the statement?
The ordinance scheduled for first reading has a hearing date set for December the 11th, 2023. Will be published in the Madison Eagle, posted on the bulletin board, and made available to members of the public requesting copies.
I call up ordinance 57-2023 for first reading. Ask the clerk to read said ordinance by title.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $230,000 from the Electric Capital Improvement Fund for the design and installation of a SCADA system and accessories for the electric distribution system.
Mayor, I move ordinance 57-2023.
Mayor, I second that ordinance.
Council discussion. We did hear some background on this in their reports. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range?
Yes.
Mr. Harlan Pudis?
Yes.
Ms. Honahan?
Yes.
Now move on to consent agenda resolutions. Will the clerk please read the statement?
Consent agenda resolutions will be enacted with a single motion. Any resolution requiring expenditure is supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any resolution requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All resolutions will be reflected in full in the minutes.
Mayor, I move approval of resolutions R 313-2023 through R 330-2023.
Second.
Council discussion or anything need to be pulled?
Mayor, I've just got a couple of contextual pieces for the personnel resolutions, whenever you want me to address those.
We go ahead. I don't think we need to pull them. Please go ahead.
Sure. So tonight we have a number of resolutions on the consent agenda concerning personnel in the police and fire departments. These are important resolutions and take steps to ensure our emergency services are well-staffed and maintained, and so we can maintain the best possible service for our residents. Resolutions 314 and 315 concern the fire department. Tonight we'll be accepting Luke McCory's resignation, and we thank him for his service during his time with the department and wish him well as he takes his next next step in his career down in the DC area. The second resolution appoints Patrick Culligan, a longtime volunteer, to the career division. With this resolution, with these two resolutions, we'll have 3 new hires in the fire department this calendar year. I haven't been around that long, Mayor, but I think that's probably a record in recent years. So I think it's important to note kind of some of the actions we've taken here. Earlier this year, we hired Dominic DeRosa, who filled the vacancy created by the retirement of the fire chief. Normally, we would have waited until the chief was fully off the books, which actually won't occur until early next year. But we backfilled that position immediately and very early before the chief even left the house to ensure a smooth transition. This fall, we appointed Jack Downs to fill the anticipated vacancy that is official tonight of Luke McCory. Again, we wanted to get Jack in early and his training well underway before Luke's departure. And finally tonight, with the approval of the resolution tonight, we'll expand our full-time firefighting ranks from 13 to 14. This is especially important given the additional support and responsibilities the fire department will be taking on to further partner with the Madison Volunteer Ambulance Corps to support EMS services in Madison. So that's the fire department. Resolutions 316, 317, and 318 appoint 3 new probationary police officers. These great candidates all have ties to the Madison community, and 2 currently reside in Madison. These appointments will bring us back to a fully staffed department. It is also important to note that these appointments would not have been possible without the recruitment efforts by Chief Misha and his team, but also without the actions taken by this council earlier this fall to update our ordinances that allow us to hire these officers and then make the investment in them to send them to the police academy and get the training they need. So that's kind of all the personnel things, and this is kind of all at once, but it just kind of happened that way.
Appreciate the background on those. Any other comments? A roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Hurlick?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range?
Yes.
Mr. Harold-Lamputis?
Yes.
Ms. Honahan?
Yes.
There is no unfinished business, and so we move on to approval of vouchers. Will the clerk please read the voucher totals?
Yes. From the current fund, $7,072,180.75. From the general capital fund, $4,343.04. From the electric operating fund, $407,374.46. From the electric capital fund, $29,985 even. From the water operating fund, $23,339.40. And from the trust, $3,062.50. The total is $7,540,785.15.
Mayor, I move approval of the vouchers.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range?
Yes.
Mr. Harold-Lamputis?
Yes.
Ms. Honahan?
Yes.
There is no new business, so Ms. Honahan.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?